Hello, this is Morgan Freeman, and you are about to experience Michael from Adena. And now, Michael.
Holy shit.
That was an introduction I was not anticipating.
I don't think any of us were.
No, he
Holy
really went
shit.
for it.
Everybody.
That is great.
Doing a
All
little,
right.
doing a little
my
bonus.
God.
Little bonus episode here. Thank you.
What a
So
bonus.
we did an entire bonus episode about Michael from Adena Distributing without Michael
We
actually
did.
being here.
Without him being here.
Now we have you here.
Well,
That's
so,
right.
this is
and-
amazing.
Glad
we
to
we
be
did
here,
not prepare
yeah.
in advance with all of the clips of adoration
It's true. I should have made buttons.
and inebriated discussing about how great you were.
So,
but
so the
anyways,
best button that I have to
You got
commemorate
it?
this moment
Let's go.
is,
Shit.
oh yeah.
All right, Michael's here.
Nice. Quite
Hey,
nice.
That
Michael.
was really nice.
I feel like you guys deserve some adoration too, though. This has really been fun, and I really like how I really like you guys. Everything. I've listened to the show, so obviously I know how it goes. But it's really fun to see you guys work and to see you guys really actually do have your shit together here. It's pretty crazy.
We don't
thank
feel
you.
like we do, but I'm glad that it sounds like it. This
thank you,
bonus
Michael.
episode isn't to talk about us at all. It is
No.
to talk about you and all the amazing things that you have brought to Cincinnati. One of which is not the beer that we're drinking right now. I
That's a nice
actually
beer,
brought to try or to have Marco try
Yeah.
West Side's cucumber Serrano Gose, which Marco can't drink a lot of, but he said that he
it
would
smells
love to
amazing.
have some,
Oh yeah, I did.
a taste or two of.
Yeah, that was the caveat. You said I'll buy it if you'll drink some, and I said I will have a
Some,
little bit.
yes.
And so
now,
you did.
after
And so-
after I had it in the tap room there, I was going to buy it anyway, regardless of if
Oh,
you wanted
okay,
it or
good.
not. But I would love to know what you think of it. So, Michael, you've already had some of
Yeah.
those pour. There's still some more in the can
I
if you want
really
any
like it.
more,
Yeah, I'll
because I still have
pour myself
two other cans at home. So, yeah, absolutely have as much as you would like.
So this is a perfect example of a pepper beer that is spicy, but it's not like a prank that you're playing on your friend or something.
Oh, yeah.
So,
can
have you
actually-
had any of Fibonacci's Carolina Reaper variants?
No. That sounds interesting.
Those,
though.
yeah, they do. On occasion, they'll do a variant of their double IPA Earth Daisy and their stout Toll House with Carolina Reapers infused. They
That's
only,
spicy.
They only bottle
like
it
it.
because it will ruin their tap lines if they try to run it through
Yeah.
on draft. That is one of those. It'll melt your face.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
good. It is incredibly, incredibly good, but it will melt your face.
This is like a real beer.
This is like the perfect balance of that spice. So you like
Yeah.
it, Marco?
Oh, this is great.
I don't know.
It's-
It's stupidly
it's,
well balanced.
It's saltiness and spiciness. It's great.
Good. I wish you could have more. I would love to bring you an entire 4-pack of it.
It's-
But I don't
it's-
want to
it-
kill you because
Yeah.
I want to continue to record episodes with you.
Yeah. So, Michael, welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. You, of course, anybody who's listening to us know that we went on for a whole extra episode and gushed about how highly I thought of you and
Both
of your
of us.
business, and so it's really cool to have you here. And thanks for reaching out to say I'd love to come on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
And-
for having me.
Of course.
And I miss working with you, Marco.
I
It
miss
was
working
fun.
with you. I
Yeah.
really do.
So
I really do.
what's fun is I think the Adena story has been told on a couple different
Sure.
podcasts a couple different times. So I don't want to repeat over and over and over. But what I would love to do for this episode is talk about how both Marco and I, in our own separate ways, met you and formed our obsession
Right.
to say the least with
Yeah.
what you're doing with Adena, and to thank you for the beers that you're bringing into Cincinnati. So, Marco, do you want to?
We do have like a whole team. Like we have.
Yeah,
we
yes.
have 5
Well,
sales reps,
oh, absolutely.
warehouse manager, 2
Absolutely.
drivers.
Yeah, and
It's-
they all do an absolutely phenomenal job. And this is in no
and
way
Michael
trying
does
to
a great job when he always talks about his
Correct.
business. He always talks about his team.
Correct. And what I was gonna say is that this isn't in any way trying to say, it is all you. It's just you and just, whatever, because without a team, there would not be an Adena.
There would not
and we
be.
definitely want to, and I definitely want to talk about that as kind of a big part of this bonus episode. I was just saying that because you are here, not the entire team, I'd love to just kind of share the stories of how Mark and I met you, and then let you take the stage and talk about Adena and the amazing team and everything you're doing to bring these ridiculous breweries into Cincinnati, and a little bit about how
Sure.
some of those breweries, as good as they are, competing with what Cincinnati beer has to offer, like what kind of a challenge that is for
Right.
you. So, Mark, I want to throw it to you first.
Sure.
With how you met Michael.
I met him
Adena.
in line at Cincy Beer Fest several years ago. I had heard I believe it was the Gnarly Gnomes podcast, Cincy Brewcast.
Right.
The Cincinnati Brewcast?
Yeah, that one. With Michael talking about him starting up his distributorship, his local small, craft beer distributorship. And I had a relationship with, of course, I was brewing at Cellar Dweller. And we had a rep from who we were represented by at the time, who we really liked, clicked with very well. And I listened to the episode. I was in line, and Michael happened to be behind me. I don't know how we ended up striking up a conversation. I don't know if you even remember that we did.
No, I do. Yeah.
But we did.
Because Kyle's the guy you're talking about.
Yes,
he was our
Kyle.
first employee.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
still
yeah.
works for us. He's phenomenal. He's our sales rep. Now he's sales rep for us. He is, cumulatively our number one sales rep. He's sold more beer than anyone else.
Kyle was fantastic for us, for the place that we were with, and then you just happened to be in line behind me, and I don't know how we struck up a conversation, but yeah, Kyle was a common denominator. We kind of connected and conversed a little bit that way, and then Cellar Dweller wound up being able to part ways with the distributorship that we were with, and had a discussion with you. We had a partnership there, an agreement. Things happened and took different turns, and the owner at the time was into distributing, and then things changed.
There's no hard feelings.
No. Things changed, and it was a lot of things kind of all at once for a new owner of a winery that also was a brewery, that also is a restaurant, that also has an outdoor patio space, that also does 2 different big events, a year. And so we pulled back from distributing beer, which we really don't distribute beer anymore. The time that I met and interacted and worked with Michael was really fantastic. And
The first time, maybe.
All went downhill after that one.
No, I mean it's all been great, and like I said in that podcast episode where I was just gushing about how great a guy you were, and how just really I loved interacting with you, and honestly, just missed having the opportunity to share a beer with you. It's great that you listen to the podcast and that you're here, and I truly appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. It was good. No, it was great. When I say, like, I'm sure, who knows where, our paths may cross again.
For sure. I
down in,
yeah,
But,
that would be great.
But, at least I'll always, come in and guest produce your podcast or something.
That'd be fantastic.
Anytime. You know where we are every Tuesday. If you're in the area and you have nothing better to do, we would love nothing more than for you to
absolutely.
pop in, and we'll
And
either set up a mic for you. If you're like, I'm just not feeling it, we'll just throw you a laminated show sheet, and you can just write down stuff.
The slope board, it's a powerful draw too. The combo might just be irresistible.
It is.
But no, that was fun. I don't know if we can name drop CJ, but you two
For sure.
were fantastic to work with, and very receptive to what we were doing. And the puzzle pieces thing was Jimmy's straight up, was an Adena brainchild as far as like what but you guys were all on board. We were like, this is what we want to see in the market. You were like, this is what we want to brew, blah, 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 blah. And, we were able to get that product out, and it really resonated with people. And that was an example of us kind of trying stuff that, for a variety of reasons, we just weren't able to follow up on, which is too bad. But I think that was definitely a willingness to kind of listen to us and to also go out. I mean, I feel like there were times that you were putting 6 barrels in your car to take down. I think both you and CJ might have gotten out and talked to accounts.
Yes.
This is very big.
Yes, we did.
Very nice to see people. I would say extra mile, but it's really just the mile you have to do to sell beer outside of the tap room is to actually go outside the tap room and sell it. Which is always appreciative when people will do that.
I remember you scheduled a beer tasting at Arrow in, what was it?
Arrow Wine and Spirits in Centerville, yeah.
Centerville.
Did you go?
I did.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did.
Appreciate that. That's a good account. They sell a lot of good.
Yeah,
they sell a lot of beer.
I did it. I had a good time.
That's great.
I had a good time.
That's fantastic.
So,
And
Michael, something that you
couldn't follow up on that. But,
no, apologize for the interruption there.
No, sorry about that. Go.
No, all good. So something that you said kind of pops up a question into my head as a non-brewer, someone that's not part of the craft beer internal scene, I guess, if that makes sense, and brewer, distributor, all that.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you, as a distributor, I don't want to say try to influence a brewery, but try to work with a brewery on what they're making to put out there in market?
It's a value that we provide, frankly.
Okay.
Is the,
kind of this is what we're seeing that people are buying. Is this something that you're able to... Okay.
Our sales team is in all the accounts anyone wants to be in every week. Mm-hmm. And we don't have our eyes glued to IRI data because that's just not the world we live in.
No, I mean, and please explain.
IRI data.
I know what IRI data is, but please explain to our listening audience what IRI data is.
Yeah.
It's stuff that you're seeing. It's mostly chain stuff, so it's stuff that's selling in like Walmart, Kroger, Meijer, that kind of stuff. It's
scan data from big chains.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
actually
Gotcha.
that's perfect.
Okay.
So it's verifiable data, but it's as far as we're concerned, a fairly biased data set because BC's isn't on that, Cappy's isn't on that, Jungle Jim's isn't on that, Arrow Wine and Spirits isn't on it,
Higher
Dorothy
Gravity.
Lane,
Higher Gravity.
yeah, all these places that are such a big part of craft beer
It's
are not
literally
in that. Yeah.
the biggest of the big that are selling to. They're selling on a macro level and not a micro level.
Yeah, Whole
if that
Foods
makes
is
sense.
probably on it.
Whole Foods is probably not, But
Yeah.
Whole Foods
Okay.
isn't what it used to be either.
Oh well, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've been in a Whole Foods.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it basically, that's kind of, I think, one of the reasons why we've been so successful is because our competition, they know, they know these are good accounts, but I don't think they realize that it's a different animal than, they know it's different than Kroger. They know it's different than Walmart. But they don't
understand the depth of what these breweries can
so I think
offer.
they're still they're still trying to feed, the thing is now, we have Pipeworks in Kroger. We have Untitled Art in Kroger. We have
so ridiculous.
We have
to think
3
about.
facings of Listerman. We have 6 facings of Brink. We have, we're going to get Bromari's going into Kroger the next reset.
Really?
They're asking me for
that's
stuff. They're
so
asking
ridiculous.
me for. So even Kroger. Kroger is different than all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
They really get it. It is still the case that they are the largest grocer in the world. BC's is Brian and Caleb and
Sure.
Ben and
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
To kind of lead that
Please
into sort of my story. And
Tell your story.
so I met you. Was it the first year that Adena was open?
Oh, it was first couple months.
First couple months.
Very early on. That's why I remember it, because I was I was still doing everything, and it was just so cool to see someone who was so into craft beer and was so interested in how the whole thing worked, and was just very much got what we were trying to do, even before we were even perfect at getting what we were trying to do.
Yeah. So way back in the day, I need to have that kind of Titanic gif, it's been 84 years kind of thing.
Sure.
I guess 5 years ago, 5-ish years ago.
It'd be 4
and a half,
three,
something.
it's probably It's
God.
3.5 years because
so eons in the
Yeah.
craft beer world when you're talking about timelines.
Yeah.
Oh, that was back when
There-
we had, 6,000 craft beer breweries. We got
And
10,000
10,000
now.
now.
Yeah.
So there was a pint night at one of the bottle
Just
shop
Delhi
liquor
Liquor,
store
yeah.
close to me, Delhi Liquor. A new brewery that was being distributed in the area called Lake Rat Brewing. There's going to be a pint night. So I told my boyfriend, hey, let's go up, let's try this. And you were up there along with one of the owners of Lake Rat, I believe. Owners or one
Vance,
of the brewers.
Vance Nation,
Yes.
He's the character.
And he was a lot of fun to talk to. I still remember Brew Juice, the IPA that...
It's important to remember that Vance is my sister's husband's brother's girlfriend's
It's
dad.
like a 6 degrees
Wow.
of Kevin Bacon
Holy
as
shit.
far as brewery. Like, there's a whole chain, a whole thread here.
I know
It
all the
was-
people involved.
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
fun. It is fun to say that. Yeah.
It is very cool to hear that and to see, like, all those connections. But I ended up spending... Like, we thought we'd go up there and maybe be there, like, half an hour, have a pint, buy some beer, and be done. I talked a lot to Vance and a lot to you about bringing all of these... You wanted to bring local breweries that weren't distributing into the distributing market, or
Yeah.
however you properly phrase that, but also bring in craft breweries, smaller breweries from outside of the Cincinnati area that Adena as a company felt needed to get that extra push, that extra visibility into Cincinnati, which was already establishing itself as a huge craft beer scene.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up being there for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. It was a fun
Just
pint
talking
night.
to you guys, it was amazing. We still have the Lake Rat Brewing
Oh,
pint
those are
glass
cool. Yeah.
that they gave us, and that made me think, man, I hope they're still doing all right up there. Brew Juice is still... And if I had it today, would it be the same as when I had it 3.5, 4 years ago? Maybe, maybe not. I would love to still get a can of that if I could, but that's how you and I met, and that's how kind of I started going down the rabbit hole of out of Cincinnati craft breweries. And man, here's a company that is willing to look for good craft breweries, not just the huge names that like Zombie, like, you know, to use what Marco got, Zombie does, that shows up on occasion.
Yeah.
This is before it was a mainstay on the shelves here. That's not necessarily what I wanted. I wanted to see these smaller companies that were doing amazing things with craft beer, but just needed to get that extra visibility that you were willing to provide. And I want to kind of clarify, when I say you, it's not directly just Michael, it's Adena as a whole company, because
definitely.
you have an amazing team. You guys have brought ridiculous beers into Cincinnati, and
Oh, for sure.
and it's amazing.
But it is Michael as the
He's the face of Adena.
the face,
Yeah.
the vocal person that talks as a proprietor of a company. It is cool to know that many years back, you know, it's just another one of those sort of stratospheric weird things that not only do you and I share a birthday, but you and I had met Michael from Adena,
Yes.
you know, in different ways. And Michael remembered you, and then, of
Yeah,
course,
which is so
knows
cool.
me because of our history. And so,
So what I want to do before I crack this beer is I want to know the difficulties that Adena has, because I don't know if this has really been talked about in any of the other podcasts that have covered Adena. All of the craft breweries that maybe you want to bring into Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Like, what is the challenge? Because Cincinnati is kind of a city. Pipeworks has kind of established themselves here, thanks to you guys. But there have been
Well,
so
they make
many
great beer.
other breweries that make great beer.
Yeah.
They're kind of that flash in the pan. I mean, Cincinnati's like, oh, this is awesome, we'll buy everything. And then it's like, okay, we're over it. Where, again, Pipeworks has stuck around longer than most. What kind of challenge is that for you to do that as you set down
Yeah.
Ninja versus
the
Unicorn?
Ninja versus Unicorn
I'm cracking
helps out
this.
quite a bit because they was a quality beer. So yeah, I mean, our competitive advantage is, I mean, we just have to go out there and find the breweries that can distinguish themselves in a city with 80 or 70 or 80. It's probably close to like 55 independent craft breweries. That's what we do. I mean, it's like I've already given Kyle his very much deserved shout out.
The entire
Kyle
team is
Holycross.
amazing.
Yeah,
what
Andrew
they do.
Decker is a huge asset. Both he's a great salesman. He's a salesman for this account. He's a fantastic salesman. He knows craft beer. He used to run Landlocked Social House. He does a lot of our picking up breweries. He and I worked very hard to get Pipeworks in together. He's independently brought in a bunch. Bissell was him.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bissell.
yeah.
Cool.
He did Falling Knife recently came in. We're about to get Burley Oak is going to be coming in.
Ooh.
We picked it up. What is today? Wednesday. We picked it up.
Yeah, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
These holiday weeks and stuff are
We
awkward.
picked it up today. Bunch. Like he helped me out with 18th Street. He helped me out with. Pretty much everything. Even if it's my idea 100%, I'm running it by him. So we got some cool stuff coming in. Unseen Creatures was 100% him. So he helps out quite a bit, and he brings in a ton of stuff. And what we're looking for is stuff that people who are, a lot of times it's what people are buying on the gray market. They're buying, they're having people mule them, trading, all this kind of stuff. FedEx, like, fuck that. You know what?
If you guys
we got
can
good.
get
We
it,
got
sure.
good beer. Why don't we pick that beer up? You don't have to pay secondary prices. You don't have to, break the law. You don't have to pay
Right.
for shipping.
Is it really
Come to
breaking the law
BC's.
if you haven't gotten caught?
I think from his perspective, he needs
Yes,
to, he needs to answer
absolutely. Adena
correctly
does
according
not.
to the law.
Adena does not
Well, wait.
do that. I'm just saying
We're-
there are purely
These
individuals.
lawbreakers are
Yes.
our competitors,
Yes.
so
Exactly.
and potential
That's
customers.
true. That's true.
So,
Oh, for sure.
So that's basically what we're looking for. Is
Andrew's
that the-
great.
the
I bump
customers-
into him all the time over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
The customers are already there. We're just trying to cut out that middleman and become the new middleman.
Okay.
The ones who actually understand freight are able to get stuff reliably here. And
Makes sense.
some breweries are like satisfied with that, but we're finding now that the allure of just having a truck come and pick up all the beer and not have to worry about it, not have to pack individual boxes or sell it to maybe 2018 they would have a release and people would be lined up the door and leave and it's all gone. Now those people are sitting at home or driving to BC's
They're
and seeing what they
ordering
got.
online, yeah.
So now this market here is becoming more appealing to them. So we've been able to get a lot of good stuff. And what we're bringing in is just stuff that is kind of on a different level than your typical stuff that is available out in the world because it's local. So that's our kind of, 2/3 what we have sold is, Listerman and Brink are big deals for us. But I think
And that's
that
awesome
all
that you're
time,
helping them to actually distribute and get out there. Brink especially. It used to be if you wanted Brink beer, you had to go to Brink and figure out parking. And it's a small tap room. If they're super busy, you might not stick around to have anything. The fact that you guys are able to step in and say, we can help you with this, we can get you out into the world is amazing.
Yeah, and that's kind of those are kind of the partners we're looking for, is people who really there is we're going to be the solution for their distribution, not we're going to create some kind of, we're going to help facilitate a solution rather
Sure.
than create a solution.
Okay.
Which is what, a lot of times when people are saying,
Yeah.
people are asking for distribution or looking for distribution, they're looking for us to create a solution.
Yeah.
And
some
I've
breweries
been in
just don't wanna
conversations
do it,
before
yeah.
where it's just they have a number that they need to hit, and you're just like, well, that's
not really going to work
It's
for.
just not gonna-
Sure,
yeah, you're not
sure.
gonna- we're not-
the bottom
we're not gonna
line
do
is
it.
you're running a business. You have to be able to pay the bills for the business. You have to be able to pay all your employees, and no matter how much either you want a particular brewery to sign with you, or you guys want to sign a particular brewery, if those numbers aren't being met to pay the brewery's bills or Adena's bills, you really have to, I guess, weigh
Well, but I
weigh
would,
that idea?
I don't
That-
know, but
I don't know. Yeah.
I would imagine you could speak to. I mean, from you say a set in Kroger coming up, new set,
Yeah.
like clearly the big guys are getting the majority of that set. And,
Oh, yeah.
and then so how many SKUs? Say would a new brewery, Bissell Brothers?
Yeah.
How many SKUs is Bissell Brothers getting? Like one?
Oh no, we don't sell Bissell to Kroger. They don't.
Those
We don't have
special.
enough. What
Yeah,
do you mean?
yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
enough. We
But
get like 2 pallets of that. We're so just like what this is just behind the curtain. So hopefully none of our I guess customers can hear this. No, so basically like we get a pallet of cases. It's 80 cases total. We get a pallet of half barrels. That's 8 half barrels total. We get a pallet of sixtels, which is 20 sixtels total. That's it for the entire state of Ohio. All 21 million human beings thirsty for Bissell Brothers. That's all we
That's
get.
it. Yeah.
And we've gotten that twice, and we're not going to get it again until it starts snowing in Maine again. So that's basically it. So
That's
Okay,
so cool.
so-
I mean,
Okay, so good example to use for that description.
yeah.
Bad example to use for the Kroger example.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for that elaboration, because that elaboration is really eye opening, right?
Yeah,
So
because to
to
me-
anybody who understands volume of beer,
Yeah.
8 kegs
Yeah.
on a pallet that's
It's 4
barrels.
Yeah.
4 barrels.
Right.
I
Ryan
grew
guys
on a-
made 100,000 barrels of beer
I
most years.
yeah. Ryan Grace probably did 110.
They probably spill 4 barrels a day. You know. what
Yeah, I mean, I brew on a 5-barrel system, so you got less half barrels than I can make in one run,
yes.
and then you got 6
Yeah.
barrels.
So it's roughly the same deal. I mean, you're talking about 6 barrels,
Right.
basically.
Right. So on a Kroger set, how many SKUs? So how many placements for a new brewery are you actually getting? I mean,
it really does depend. So, for example, with Bromari, we thought that was going to be a cool little fun thing, and then Kroger says, "No, we know who these guys are. We want them."
That's
So we didn't pitch
awesome.
them. Yeah, so we didn't pitch them. They
that's
told them.
so awesome.
So it's the same deal with Pipeworks. I did know that they were going to want it, and it does. I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about it,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
will
no,
tell you that
don't-
people,
yeah.
and like the idea that Kroger is just this big box store that doesn't understand craft beer and that isn't attuned to what's going on.
I feel like I want to give
it's-
Kroger a little more credit than that.
Yeah,
They
that's
at
what I'm
least
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
understand.
no,
Oh,
that's,
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm saying
okay,
that
okay.
the idea that that's the case is not the case.
Gotcha,
That is
gotcha.
the straw man I was setting up
Gotcha.
to knock down.
Straw
they
man.
get it. They get it. They get it, and it's still challenging because it's still a very large grocer, and there's a lot of things that a very small company has to do to try and make everything work. And you can see the gray in my beard. It hasn't always worked, but I mean, it is. I mean, we have like 28 or 29 SKUs approved in Kroger. It's
That's so freaking
So
cool.
but being like, we're never going to be in Walmart. We're never. I mean, we might be in Meijer.
But-
We're never going to be in Circle K. We're probably never going to be in UDF. Like, that's just not because they're not. We just don't. There's not going to be the relationship with the beer buying customer that we need to sell the beer that we can sell. So that's really the issue here. I mean, if you talk to producer Ben about beer, he's going to know our product and he's going to be able to sell it. In part because he's an incredibly intelligent guy who knows. I mean, he's a very smart beer dude, and then he's also talking to our smart beer people who know beer and who are going to tell him what's special about this beer and how it can connect to the people who are going to buy the beer when they come in. And that's how we do it. We don't hit every single beer selling place. We drive past liquor license holders every day that could not sell our product. And we choose relationships where it's going to work. Not just because we're picky and snobby. It's because we know that we've learned from experience in some ways that just getting a placement, doing
mean
a
it's
hard
gonna
sell and getting in
sell,
there, it's not going to move, and you're just going to waste everyone's time. and the beer's going to go bad,
Well,
and you're going to hurt the brand.
Go ahead, Marco.
No, that's great. And if you have a question about that, go ahead and ask it, Julia, because I want to ask something else.
This was going to be slightly different on that, and I know that it's a little after 8 o'clock. I know that you have
have
stuff that you need to do.
unfortunately.
So I was just going to say, kind of sort of one comment on something that I just learned from what you said, and then kind of try to wrap this up with a question to all three of us. What you said about the availability, like Bissell Brothers specifically, you're probably not going to get that opportunity until like winter.
Yeah, so whenever their summer tourist season ends.
As someone who isn't super tied into kind of the distributing network, to me, Bissell Brothers came out. It was amazing, and then it's gone. So the way that I looked at that, which is an incorrect view of how the world works, I guess, is I guess they were good, but they weren't good enough to stick around in Cincinnati. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the brewery just can't produce enough to where you can keep it on the shelves full time. As I said, there are a lot of breweries that Adena and other places bring into Cincinnati that sell incredibly well, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't stick around. And it's interesting to learn that maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not so much of we bought it all out this first round, but then we're like, yeah, we can get an IPA, a stout, or whatever that's just as good, that's local. And so you don't bring it back. It could 100% be the brewery.
Maybe
just
it's not
can't.
us, it's them.
Exactly.
Right?
It's not our problem. It's their problem.
No,
which is really
right.
cool. Yeah,
Usually
I didn't realize
most
that.
Places that, well, because a lot of times it really does depend. Typically, if you see a brewery and then you don't see it, that is because it didn't work out. But I mean, especially with a lot of our stuff that has a little bit more limited availability, that, they want it to go to, they would rather go to the BCs of the world in many states than to just try to go, we're going to go to the border states and we're going to hit every single account. We're going to hit every single place. And the thing is that the reason why they can do that is because they can do that. And
Makes sense.
instead of doing, because I mean, there are breweries, and I think I talked about this a little bit. I mean, there's just, most breweries can't sell very well outside of their home radius. We have to find the ones that can.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Marco, what did you want to say before
So-
I rein this all in and wrap this?
So because we have a relationship prior to the podcast, I know from social media that you celebrated 10 years in the beer business.
Congratulations.
And in that 10 years, what is a nugget or two that you've learned that as either positive, negative, that, looking back on the past 10 years, that you would want to say out loud or share?
There's no fucking point in selling bad beer and beer you
Hell
don't like.
yeah.
Hell
So
yeah,
that
I
would
love
be-
that.
I love it.
Every time, you always need to put the beer first. It's such a cliche. And,
But is it?
well, it is and it isn't. I mean, like,
Yeah.
me, it just, people just know. People find out, you can't, no matter how long you've been, 10 or 20 or 50 years, however long you think you've been in the industry, that you think you're going to be able to outsmart the people who pay money to drink beer, you're just not going to do it.
You're not going to.
You're just not going to do it. It's never going to happen. And so that's the thing I've found, is that's where we find it. Sometimes it seems arbitrary. Sometimes it feels a little silly what people like and what people want. But at the end of the day, most people in craft beer, most craft beer drinkers, they don't care that there's a Super Bowl commercial about it. They don't care that you can, if you get in a rebate, you can get a hat. They want good beer that's going to resonate with them. And for a lot of people, that means it meets a certain quality level and it's local. For other people, it meets a higher quality level and it has a reputation. And so what we found is we try and find as high a quality beer that has best reputation that we can find. I mean, it's really that simple, because places like we're recording right now, that's all they care about. And the reason they care about it is because that's what their customers care about. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to put a beer in a man's hand or a woman's hand, and have a and get just a tiny bit of money, because beer is very expensive to make, and people don't want to pay very much for it, and it's also very heavy. It's hard to, you're talking about, the amount of volume. It happens to me all the time. So we had I can just do a quick digression. We had a very interesting experience with a freight company. They brought beer in, and it was a completely messed up pallet. But we get, I get so many funny questions from the drivers who just are their minds are blown about what we do. And when I tell them that some of these 4-packs are $21.99, he's they can't believe that beer. I mean,
why would someone pay that much?
I had a conversation with my dad, who has been so involved in this company. He's been so helpful. He was doing beer deliveries. He helped pull refrigeration. He's been so involved in this. And he was like, he drinks craft beer too. He's like, you charge $21.99 a 4-pack. Listen, if someone bought a bottle of fucking wine for $21.99, you would just think that's a good bottle of wine.
Right? No one would blink.
You would not question. You would not question the validity. Look, beer is more expensive to brew. Some of the ingredients are more expensive, and to be honest, you can
look at astronaut food.
You can get as drunk on a 4-pack of our beer as you can a bottle of wine, at least, if not more. And it drives me crazy when people question, wow, just beer, $21.99. It's just, but
this isn't
people
your dad's
do get
lager that we're selling. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's never been. He's a dark
for the delivery drivers and all that.
He's a pretty dark. He's a dark beer drinker, but I've caught him drinking Florida Seltzer now from Naturdays, the ones I give my mom. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We're going to have you back.
Absolutely.
I, first of all, love hanging out with you.
This has been great.
It's been too long since you and I have gotten together.
Likewise.
The other thing is that...
It's been years.
It's been years, yeah.
It has been years, and it's been too long. I want to come back together, and I'd love to you bring Untitled Art in.
Mm-hmm.
If you get collective arts, because it's on your pint glass, and the Newbert Report is all about collective arts.
I would love to come in and do another round of NA beers.
Okay,
yes.
great.
And, yes, absolutely.
And the Untitled Art stuff was
so
by
good.
far heads and tails above, and it was also by far the most expensive.
Yes.
That's kind of how. I mean, it's just it's the same deal. If you just want to compare Untitled Art beer versus the average beer out there, it's the same deal with the seltzer. It's the same deal with your NA.
I'm just gearing you up for it, and I don't know if it's going to be soon, meaning 2-3 weeks, or soon, meaning
as long as it's not another
December.
couple of years. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I want to wrap this up, because I know that you need to get out of here, you need to get home. I want to wrap this up by all of us giving the brewery that we would love to see come into Cincinnati, hopefully through Adena, but just something, even if it's a white whale, something that I don't know if because it's a Norwegian brewery, I have no idea, but just what is a brewery you would love to see available in Cincinnati and we'll just say that, maybe Adena could have a hand in. And then, Michael, I'm going to have you go last so that you can plug anything you want to plug for Adena, how to follow you, how to know what Adena's doing, what you're bringing into Cincinnati. Mark, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start. It's easy for me. It's Carton Brewing out of New Jersey, and the reason why is because I've never had a beer from Carton Brewing. Okay. I love to steal this beer, which has John Hall and Augie Carton as a podcast. And John Hall is a fantastic beer writer, and Augie Carton is an extremely fascinating brewery owner. I would love to have Carton Brewing out of New Jersey here so that I can taste the things that he talks about, that he's passionate about, and it's easy for me. And that may be nobody's white whale except for mine, but that's
I'll have to look
me.
them up. I'm now interested.
All right, cool. And this is one that you and your entire team are pretty big in the Facebook craft beer communities, the Cincinnati Craft Beer Club. Every now and then there'll be a post about what breweries do you want to see in Cincinnati, and you or one of your team members is always like, hey, are you making a list? Are you keeping an eye on what people are saying? And I absolutely love that. This is one that I mention every single time. Hitchhiker Brewing out of Pittsburgh. I found them when I was out there a couple times for work. They are absolutely phenomenal. They did a collaboration with Listerman right before the Bachfest parade, before the shutdown, actually.
Yeah.
Facts About Cats, I think. I'm pretty sure. Something about...
Oh, shit. If it's about cats,
Cats
Julia
were
found
involved
out about it.
somehow. Well, I actually knew about that before the collab came out because I was working in Pittsburgh at the time, went to Hitchhiker, and ended up talking to whoever was the current owner or one of the owners. I don't know the whole situation over there now. And he was like, oh, yeah, we're actually doing a thing with Listerman. I'm like, Listerman? I love Listerman. I'm right there. So kind of got a little sneak peek of like the label design that they were thinking about on his phone and all that good stuff.
Nice.
But Hitchhiker Brewing, I love the beers that I have been able to bring back from them. So that is the one that I will throw out there. And Michael, let's wrap this up with what would you like to see?
Well, I know we
come
got a
to
couple
Cincinnati?
coming in, but
what's one that you don't that either you that
I
either
think Allagash would
Allagash-
definitely be. It just
Ooh,
seems like
yeah.
Allagash just seems
Yeah.
like the.
Pulling out
It
the-
just seems
fuck.
like
pulling out the
it'd be
big
nice.
fucking guns.
It just be it just
Yeah.
that would just mean a lot. It would just mean an
That'd be
absolute shit.
cool.
I mean,
That'd
yes.
be cool. Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Well, for sure.
If anyone
I don't know
could
if
do it,
anyone
Adena
knew?
can.
Did anyone? I mean, I know that Jim Hennessy was key in getting Allagash in here a very, very long time ago, and I know that they kind of were passed around for a while, and then wisely kind of pulled back.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it'd be cool to finally. I think people are ready for them again.
I think so.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it'd be great to do
I think
that.
people-
Parish, I think, is the other one that I really would. We are working. We are actually kind of trying to get Parish, so maybe that one
That'd
shouldn't
be
count.
cool.
But Allagash is one I think that is kind of like they've said like we're not fucking gonna do something like that again, and I'd like to change their mind.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Well, because you need to get home before you get into trouble. We need to get home before I get into trouble. All that good stuff.
And I need to
What-
use the restroom.
What would you like to plug about Adena? What do you want to make sure? And this is 100% stealing Cincy Brewcast and the Gnome.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about Adena that maybe they don't know? Just tell us about Adena. Let people know where to find you.
Well, I just think that people should go to our great customers that have great craft beer that like BC's, places like this that are, really taking craft beer seriously. It's kind of funny. We were talking. There's just these kind of craft beer meccas are, I think still very important, and it can be easy to be distracted by other kinds of venues, but this is, to me, what craft beer is at its essence, where you have knowledgeable staff, great variety, and this has always been how, I started 10 years ago. I mean, I never was the kind of person to go to a craft brewery. It was always, I was going to go to a craft beer bar. I was going to go to Bob's Bar in Columbus. I was going to go to Dilly Deli. I was going to go to Dutch's, Jungle Gyms, that kind of thing. Those places, I feel like, were always as enlightening, if not more enlightening, as far as what the craft beer world was really about. And I think that's maybe just my bias. I've always been selling to those places. But even before then, I think that that's kind of where if people wanted to know, help Adena out, it's go to the great customers. I'll be honest, Listerman, Brink, Wooden Cast, Darkness, and Alexandria are fantastic local breweries. You should definitely go check those out as well.
There you go.
And try and find a
also
beer on the
on
shelf if you get a
Facebook-
chance.
Search for Adena Distributing on Facebook. And do you guys have Twitter?
We have Instagram. We don't have Twitter.
Okay. So Instagram
We do,
and
we don't use it.
Facebook. Look for Adena Brewing because they will let you know.
Distributing.
Adena Distributing. It's eventually you guys will be a brewery too. I'm just throwing that out there. No. But look them up. They post amazing stuff about the amazing breweries that they're bringing into Cincinnati. Michael, thank you so
Thank you both.
so
This is
much for
perfect.
being here.
Thank you, Michael.
Anytime you want to swing by,
Yeah. Anytime.
come on and do it. You know where we
I
are
will
every
do it.
Tuesday.
Come on.
You gotta
All
be
right.
careful. I will.
No,
Hey,
do it.
absolutely. All right. We will see you guys later.
Cheers.
See you guys.